few words about
food. What do I want for dinner tonight? There's Afghan, African, American New, American Traditional, Asian, Asian Fusion, Australian, Austrian, bagels, bakeries, cake.
The next thing I knew, there was a bucket of ice water being shaken over my head. And this woman I've been married to for 17 years was standing over me like this. Now you get down there and cook some breakfast. I looked at her and I said, you're serious, aren't you? So I got up. Needless to say, I was angry. So I went downstairs, didn't even put my robe on. Standing there in my pajamas, I'm talking to myself. Go down and cook breakfast. It's 6 in the morning. And I slammed the pans down. Blam! On the stove. And I go to the refrigerator. And I look around and get the damn bacon, the sausage. Throw it down and 6 in the morning. Cooking at 6 in the morning. And then I grab you have to be careful with eggs. God, I have to cook breakfast in the morning. And then I turn around. The first one down is the 4-year-old. The child looked lovely. Cute little face, clean, hair in little braids, you know, little things.
Good morning, Daddy.
And I said, what do you want for breakfast? Now, the 4-year-old has the ability to see right through me and find the wrong thing. She sees through me, and she sees the chocolate cake. So she says,
Can I have chocolate cake?
chocolate cake? Where?
Chocolate cake.
I look, and there it is, a chocolate cake. The child wants chocolate cake for breakfast. How ridiculous. And then someone in my brain looked through chocolate cake and found the list of ingredients. Eggs! Eggs are in chocolate cake. And milk. Oh, goody. And wheat. That's nutrition.
Amen.
What do you want?
Can I have some chocolate cake?
Chocolate cake, coming right up. So I sliced it and I gave it to her. Now, you need something to drink with a chocolate cake. Something breakfast. Grapefruit juice. It's not your child. So I gave the child a glass of grapefruit juice and chocolate cake. Nutrition. Eggs, milk, and wheat in the chocolate cake. And I didn't have to cook.
Bar food, barbecue, Belgian, bistro, Brazilian, British modern, British traditional, burgers, Burmese, cafes and coffee houses, breakfast.
One bright morning at a restaurant in Chicago, as I waited for my eggs and toast, I opened the Tribune, only to discover that I was the same age as Cheerios. Indeed, I was a few months older than Cheerios, for today the newspaper announced was the 70th birthday of Cheerios, whereas mine had occurred earlier in the year. Already I could hear them whispering behind my stooped and threadbare back.
Why, that dude's older than Cheerios.
They used to say, why, that's as old as the hills. Only, the hills are much older than Cheerios, or any American breakfast cereal. And more noble and enduring are the hills, I surmised, as a bar of sunlight illuminated my orange juice.
Cajun and Creole, Californian, Caribbean, Central American, Central Asian, cheesesteaks, chicken, Chinese, cocktails, crepes, Cuban, delis, desserts, dim sum, dinners and coffee shops, health food.
No sprouted wheat and soya shoots and Brussels in a cake. Carrot straw and spinach raw. Today, I need a steak. Not thick brown rice and rice pilau or mushrooms creamed on toast. Turnips mashed and parsnips hashed. Dreaming of a roast. Healthy folks around the world are thinned by anxious zeal. They look for help in seafood kelp. I count on breaded veal. No smoking signs, raw mustard green zucchini by the ton, uncooked kale and bodies frail are sure to make me run. To loins of pork, chicken thighs, and standing ribs so prime. Pork chops brown and fresh ground round, I crave them all the time. Irish stews and boiled corned beef and hot dogs by the scores, or any place that saves the space for smoking carnivores.
Dutch, Eastern European, eclectic and international, Ethiopian, Filipino, fish and chips, French, gastropub,
Food addiction is characterized by the obsession with food, the obsession with weight gain, and the loss of control over the amount of food eaten. It involves compulsive pursuit of mood changes by engaging repeatedly in episodes of binge eating despite of adverse consequences. Now, the term food addiction implies that there is a psychological, biochemical condition of the body that creates craving for refined carbohydrates. This craving and its underlying biochemical conditions comparable to an alcoholic's craving for alcohol. The need to abstain from the addictive substances is common to both alcoholics and food addicts. That translates into, I'm not able to sit in a chair without running to the kitchen and to finish the Twinkies. And while I'm there, I might as well finish the Oreos too. The food addict's preoccupation with food is demonstrated by reoccurring thoughts about getting, preparing, and ingesting food substances, usually sticky, pasty, greasy ones. Because the food addict is obsessed with food and eats out so much, the typical consequences of this is weight gain. Sometimes tremendous weight gains are endured. Then the addicted person becomes worried about size, shape, body image suffers, and self-image suffers too. Does the food addict choose to be this way? Of course not. The individual inherited this addiction along with his blue eyes and brown hair. Researchers have identified the defective gene in high percentages of individuals who are addicted to alcohol, food, nicotine, and cocaine.
Imagine a foot-high pile of broccoli or a giant bowl of apple slices. Do you know anyone who would binge on broccoli or apples? On the other hand, imagine a mountain of potato chips, a whole bag of cookies, or a pint of ice cream. These are easy to imagine vanishing into an unconscious reptilian brain-eating frenzy. Broccoli is not addictive, but chips, cookies, and soda absolutely can become addictive drugs. The just say no approach to drug addiction hasn't fared very well. And it won't work for our industrial food addiction either. Tell a cocaine or heroin addict or alcoholic to just say no after the first snort, shot, or drink.
burgers,
There are specific biological mechanisms that drive addictive behavior. Nobody chooses to be a heroin addict, cokehead, or drunk. Nobody chooses to be fat either. The behavior arises out of a primitive neurochemical reward centers in the brain that override normal eating control. Consider, why do smokers continue to smoke even though they know will lead to cancer or heart disease? Why do most addicts continue to use cocaine and heroin after they see it destroys their lives? Why do only 20% of alcoholics quit drinking successfully? Why does quitting caffeine lead to irritability and headaches. It is because these substances are biologically addictive.
I started slowly, relishing the flavor and texture of each marvelous bite. Soon I was ripping the meager remains from the bones, stuffing the meat into my mouth as fast as I could detach it.
Her boyfriend surprises her with a look of total disgust on his face.
I had been caught red-handed in an animalistic orgy on the floor in the dark, alone. Here was the horrid truth. I felt so evil, tainted, pagan. I had been whoring after food.
I was the same age as Cheerios. I just want steak.
Life without butter is no life at all.
Chocolate cake has milk, wheat in it, nutrition.
I think I'll have Chinese.